big twist on the Tooth Fairy.
When she gets your last tooth, she kills you.
It's not the nice Tooth Fairy that we're used to from our childhood days.
I don't think it's a movie for children.
Make her disgusting, make her repulsive.
She needs makeup.
She literally is hell on wheels.
And action, please.
Step into the parlor. No need to see me, child.
The Tooth Fairy is an interesting idea, I thought, because it's sort of based on the idea that there's this Tooth Fairy who is basically a killer. One by one, the people that are involved at this bed and breakfast start dying in very brutal ways. And it's the Tooth Fairy on the rampage.
And cut it.
The Tooth Fairy covets children's last tooth, baby tooth. And the children can't move, their souls can't move on to the next level of the afterlife until they retrieve those teeth. I'm a very visual kind of character. Photography, cinematography has been a big portion of my life. Stephen, I think, likes for his stories to be very visual.
I wouldn't lie to you, child.
I thought it was a really interesting kind of fanciful story, but it had great horror elements in it because when this Tooth Fairy kills people, she does it with axes.
The horror genre is relatively new to Stephen, and certainly it's relatively new to me. In order to prepare myself for this, I had to go out and rent a lot of horror movies.
These are some of the children who were killed by the Tooth Fairy. Are you a ghost too?
The secret to any good horror film, as it is with any good film, and that's how good is the story, how good are the characters, how engaging are the characters.
All right, Pammy, come walking through.
Chuck has very strong opinions about how he wants things to be shot and how he wants to deliver, but he's not stubborn, and I, on the same level, I have strong opinions too, but I can't be stubborn.
Retreat from it, go back across the bed. Yeah, there you go. Oh, saw your panties. Anyway.
And he's just a fun guy, just completely somebody you can put your trust in.
Let him get bigger. Let him get bigger, he'll get so close. See more of him.
I'm in charge of the special effects makeups and effects for Tooth Fairy.
We worked together to design what the prosthetics are supposed to be, the hands, the face. Though the Tooth Fairy is female, I wanted somebody that moved with more authority. I wanted a man to do that. So we got a martial arts expert.
What we were dealing with was an Asian gentleman named Peng, who's got very much a very Asian face and very much a male face and characteristics. So we had to go through many different scenarios in order to feminize the makeup. One which included redesigning the nose, redesigning the chin.
Pong is a martial artist. I mean, he does a lot of Jackie Chan films, and he is streak lightning when he moves. But he just captured the movements of this character beautifully and had command and was quite threatening. These are all very solid actors who bring a specialness to their characters. And that's, every director wants to help an actor realize themselves in a character. I don't want to make them somebody else. I want that person to come out of them, the written character to come through their soul, through their words, through their manners.
Hanley Mark.
Lachlan Monroe is a terrific name for us. I thought to get him and Chandra West, wonderful actress.
Every director wants to be able to be next to that camera or behind the camera and have some performance just blow you away, a jaw dropper. And I had many, many instances in this little film where I was extremely impressed with the job that these characters would do in any particular scene, and that started right with the kids.
Do you have any baby teeth left? So what if I do? But it's just one, so it barely counts. Best not to pull it till you're safe at home. The witch collects teeth. Chuck is so much fun. He's basically like my grandpa, and it was so much fun.
All right, what do you say?
It was like a family there, and he was like the head of the family. I'm Emma Inch. Pamela Wagner.
And Emma, who is the little friend of Pamela's, Gianna Ballard played that part, and she was originally in contention for the part of Pamela.
My character Emma, she died a long time ago from the Tooth Fairy, and like there was like 12 other kids that got killed by her too. And so like in the end we all come back. We're trapped between heaven and hell. You're our only hope to set us free.
I felt like we were so fortunate. These two little girls never blew a line, ever. Scene after scene, they were dead on. And then I could color the scene a little bit. I could give them slight or subtle changes in how they presented themselves in a particular scene. And they went to it.
Good going. You were wonderful.
Jessie Hutch. He was so much fun too. He was actually my best friend on the set.
It's just kind of a myth, I guess, if you will, the Tooth Fairy, you know. We've all kind of heard of the Tooth Fairy, and this is just a little spin on what the Tooth Fairy could possibly be.
Call me Star.
All right, Bobby, close your mouth now and grab those suitcases, would you?
She used to be an exotic dancer and hasn't let go of the clothes because I guess she just doesn't know what is appropriate dress. And really, who says what's appropriate? She looks like a really pretty bird. She just has lots of colors and lots of cleavage, and it was really fun. I always loved animals. Even as a kid.
I love the scene with Bobby Boulay and Star, just before Bobby meets his end, unfortunately, but she's encouraging him to his future. She's already had, even at a young age, she's had too much of the road and the street, and she's trying to uplift herself by going back to school and finding another way to live life rather than a life as a stripper.
But underneath all this, I'm still just Star Roberts, girl geek. He's just gorgeous, and so I kind of have my eye on him, and then I realize he's a bit too young, and then he dies.
The Tooth Fairy kills him in a really harsh, gory way.
It was a wicked scene, and I actually really did have a lot of fun. And I always love when they're putting stuff in my eyes and there's blood, and I get to do something different.
We found an incredible little house up in Vancouver, up in North Van, and it was great, you know, and it had everything that we needed.
The wonderful thing about a practical location is you have the opportunity to have a sense of reality of where you are, if you shoot it correctly, if your cinematography is interesting, if your composition is interesting, if you have interesting lens selections, you get a sense of place and a sense of really being there that you can't get on a stage. And I prefer that.
What's happening is you're leaning into it.
In our first scenes, when we flash back to 1949, and these young farm boys come to the house, and the Tooth Fairy confronts one of them.
They rigged me up on a dolly cart at the end of a hallway, and I had this rubber axe that I was wielding over my head, just like right down the hallway at him. And then I was supposed to, like, you know, hack him to death.
She literally is hell on wheels. When I moved her, I put her on wheels.
We were basically let to really just go crazy on this one. One of our victims gets nail gunned to the floor and wall and then violently macheted, and we chopped off her arm, and we sprayed probably about 2 gallons of blood in that scene.
Steady, lots of energy now. And action, please.
There's some characters in there that are just like whacked out, but yet they're like creepy, and there's some really funny scenes, and there's some really scary scenes.
Ultimately, because of this little girl, I guess she kind of comes through, and a few people live, and, you know, that's a good thing.
Everybody in the audience, 99% of the people at any age in the audience, can relate to their childhood and where they put their tooth under the pillow and something magically happened. It was the Tooth Fairy. And for that to be used as a device, what if it would have been like that in my life? You know, the Tooth Fairy, the wonderful Tooth Fairy who brought me gifts.
Good going there, Karen.
It fascinates me that there are people who actually, they really love, like, in the gorier something is, or the more blood there is, more blood and guts and stuff. I'm like with my hand over my face.
Good. Thank you, Sam. Wasn't that fun?
It was a great coming together for us, and we had fun doing it, and he shot the lights out on the movie. When you hire your friends, it's always good when they do a good job, you know.
And cut credit.
There are some great directors who've worked in the horror genre, and I wanted to see what they'd done and then see if I could put my own signature on this one.